Alrighty, hey everybody. Today is going to be a model review of the brand new NZG HS8130. It's a Liebherr duty cycle crawler crane, as you can see. So before I go over the functionality and the detail of the model, I'm going to cover some of the tools or accessories that come with this model, being that this is a duty cycle crane. So your first display option, I should say, is a weight, and what this is for is called dynamic compaction. So how this works is you would just pick this up and free fall it down to the ground multiple times like so, and that would compact the ground, and you would get it to a certain point where you needed to reach your compaction, and then you would pick it up and move to another spot and start doing it all over again. So that's one of your options for displaying. Just like the HS855 by NZG, it comes with a drag line. It is pretty much identical to it. So this one might be a little bigger, but I wouldn't be surprised if they use the same drag line bucket. Obviously, if you're going to have the drag line, you need to have the fair lead on it. So that mounts to the front on the right-hand side. So, and that's what would bring the bucket in, drag it in after you've casted it out to collect the dirt. So if you're going to display the model in those two configurations, you have to put it in a single shiv configuration. It already, when you open the model up before you put it together, it already is. It already has the single shiv on the boom tip. So if you're going to run it with the way I have it displayed, which I'm sure everybody already knows, it comes with a slurry wall digger or a clam, whatever you want to call it. You have to take the shivs off, the shiv off, and put a different shiv and cap over the shivs, because that attachment needs two parts of line to open and close the clam. So anyway, but I'll go over that here in a second. So starting off with the functionality of the model first, your tracks do have a spring-loaded idler. They do roll. They're really loose on this model, as you can see. So being that they're NZG tracks, and NZG tracks have a tendency to come apart very easily, I'm not going to roll them because I don't want the tracks to come apart on me. So the crane does swing. So as you can see, you can display it in any position you want with that. And then you do have your tracks. They do go in and out. So what I mean by that is, if you're going to put them in transport mode, they do suck in to a tighter method like that. This one does go in more, but it's hard to do with one hand while I'm holding the camera. So, and then they slide out like so for when you're working. You do have outrigger jacks down here as well, and they do go down. So I have not tried to tear this crane apart as far as to get it into a transport mode, so I'm not sure if you can or can't. But anyway, moving on. So now we'll get into the detail of the model. This cab does not go up or down, so like on other cranes. I don't know if the real crane does or doesn't do that. So, but on the model, it does not tilt up or down. So, starting off at the bottom, you do have double grouser tracks. This is a cheek weight right here. This is removable. As you can see, it just lifts up and out. So if you don't want those on there, you can take them off. There's a little 3.5 ton decal on it. There's your track rollers, your sprocket. It says Liebherr in there. Moving up, here are your counterweights. They're all individual. So they don't have, like the 855, they don't have a clip that goes through the center of them to keep them all linked together. So they just stack on top of each other, and so it's pretty easy for them to fall off if you're messing with the model too much. Your handrails here are all plastic, and they're very, very flimsy. You do not have the option of taking them out when you get the model. They are just fixed to the body. To me, the handrails, like, two things are going to be disappointing for crane guys, is the handrails don't come off. So if you want to put this crane in a transport mode, none of these come off. So that's one thing that people are not going to like about it. And then the second thing is to me, the handrails do seem a little bit tall and overscaled. I might be wrong, but they just seem a little bit on the bigger side. On the body, you can see Liebherr HS8130. Here's all your doors. They've got little door latches painted on them. There's your ladder. None of those doors open. All your opening doors are on the other side for your winches. Here's your cab. It's just a seat in there and some joysticks. Nothing too special. There's a windscreen wiper on the front. I guess you could call it a little cab guard on the top there. Your anti-slip texture, it's etched in with the holes, but it's not etched through. So it looks pretty good, but it would look better, obviously, if it was etched all the way through like the catwalks are on the boom. Getting to the top here, here's your exhaust stacks and air intakes. And there's all your winches there. So, spin this around. See the back of the crane? You can see all your counterweights. Like I said, they have decals, the 2.6 tons, 6.3, and 11.9 for the two bottom ones. And then here's your kind of safety striping on the sides. These are your chains to simulate when you pick up all the counterweights and marry them to the crane. That's what that's for. Here's a pin right here that, pins the counterweights to the body so it doesn't fall off. And you can also see your shivs and 5 or 6 parts of line. So reeving this crane's really, really easy. I'll go over that in a little bit. So you can see this little cheek weight here kind of came off. So just, like I said, just goes up and hangs on there. So on this side, you've got a plastic vent. These are where your opening doors are at. This is your winch for the gantry. And these are your 2 winches for your hooks. The door here opens pretty good. This, for whatever reason, is extremely loose. I think I could glue it down, but I don't know if it's meant to do that for opening the doors. You don't break it, or that you can get the door more open so you can get your key in there. But regardless, it just kind of goes into a little slot in there. You can see your other ladder, an HS8130 on that side. So getting up to the top again on this side, you can see some rubber hydraulic lines that are coming up from the front of the crane to the top. And then, I guess that's kind of that's just the view of the top on this side. Here's your gantry. Here's your boom stops. There's a little platform on the heel of the boom right here. And then here's your boom heel. You can see it's links together with brass nuts and bolts, just like most other NZG models I've ever been. You do have edge through walkways going up the boom. Here's your gantry. Here's your pendant lines. They're basically cables, just like the HS855s. I don't know if this is gonna, there we go. It has those clips that link the cables together like so. Boom-wise, you get, looks like to be a 40-foot section and a 10-foot section, plus the heel and the tip. So it's not a super tall model or super tall crane. It's probably just a little bit over a foot in height. So definitely not the tallest crane model out there, but based on the configurations that they were going for with this crane, it's probably realistic that you would run it through in real life. So getting up to the top, there's more shivs. And so I said you have to replace, if you're going to run it with the clam or the other configurations, you have to replace the shiv. So you take this pin out right here, and this one, when you're in the clamshell configuration, it has 3 shivs, and then this different plastic cover that goes over the top. And if you're in the other ones, you do the single, and these would mount right there. So that's how that works. So like I said, when you buy the model and it's assembled, this right here is already installed on it. So if you want to install the grab, you have to pull that pin out, pull these off, and put the other ones on for the multi-shiv and everything like that. So there it is looking across the front. So, and as you can see, it is 2 parts of the line. This attachment, just the string on it, because how it works is it comes down, and I'll detwist it, and the attachment's going to spin on me. But it does come down, and then it just hooks to these 2 cables, and then as you adjust your winches, that opens and closes the clam bucket. So when you're, I'll just keep coming down. You can see the cables go through the shivs there. There's your clam bucket, so you can see all the detail of this attachment. And getting towards the bottom, it does have metal teeth there, and then looking in there, you also have another set of teeth. Doesn't want to seem to focus, but there they are. So when you have the clam all the way in the open position, those get exposed. So, but with the way I have mine, they're kind of hidden right now. So, and like I said, this is, I think, an issue with every single freaking duty cycle crane that comes with a slurry wall digger. I don't think the thing likes to stay still. I think it likes to get all twisted up and spin like so. So if there's a way, anybody knows a way to get it to stop, let me know in the comments section down below. But I think it is what it is. So anyway, there's the front, the bottom of the crane. So anyway, yeah, I guess I'll give my final thoughts on this crane model. So this is a pretty nice crane model if you're either into kind of foundation type equipment, or if you're getting into cranes and you're intimidated by the bigger cranes, you just want to get a smaller crane to either start out on, or you don't want to get into huge cranes, but you do want to have a crane. You can buy this one. This would be a great option. It's a fairly large crane. Goes for around $450, so it's reasonable. I don't remember what the HS855 went for, but this is a bigger model, and this does give you more display options. So I think in that aspect, it's worth the money. Mine did have some issues, being that just NZG's quality control is not all that great. My keys for my winches, the 2 front ones, don't really work. They get stuck, so I had to take a knife and just slide the drum over to get it loose, so I could reeve the clam attachment. NZG has some pretty good customer service, so I guess if you wanted to, you could, I could contact them and get replacement parts and pull this thing apart. But for me, I have the crane and the display configuration that I want, so I'm just going to leave it alone. But that's really the major issue that I had with this model. Everything else was fine with it. It's pretty good quality model for the most part, with that only one exception. So anyway, that'll conclude this model review. Before I conclude the model review, it does not come with a hook. So if you want to display this as just a standard crane without the duty cycle attachments, you would have to get a hook of some sort, and then you could reeve it with just a hook, but it does not come with one. So anyway, getting back to it, this will conclude this model review of the HS8130 made by NZG in 1/50th scale. Thank you. Have a good day. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.